Hello, and welcome back to the OS Philippines Nationals 2025 for the game mode OS Mania. My name is Lazereed, and right beside me is one of the hosts of the tournament, uh, Surf Chu. How's it going?
I'm actually wondering if everyone is already tired of hearing my voice because I think I've commentated 90 something percent of the matches that have been streamed, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, you've been pretty busy for like these past few days, honestly, and it's one of the. I'm sure that in the future we'll have more commentators that will coming in. But anyways, uh, it's not about us, but soon enough we'll be seeing the match between Heavy Weapon 9 and nickulott for the 7 key division.
Yeah, this is
Okay.
our number 6 versus number 11 matchup.
Yeah.
And I'd say this is actually pretty interesting because I know that Heavy Weapon 9 is pretty much a veteran of the game. Like, I've seen their username for so long now that I don't think that seeding might justify their skill level at the very least.
Yeah, I've seen Heavy Weapon for like a long time. It's crazy that uh you don't really see the player themselves. They could be maybe a O2 Jam player. That kind of feeling is what I felt about Heavy Weapon 9.
Yeah, I think the only thing that the one thing that Nicolot actually has over Heavy Weapon, at least qualifiers wise, is just that they've practically outscored Heavy Weapon on all of the charts. Like, this is one of those instances, actually. One of the instances where the higher seeded player actually has everything over their opponent. Because, like, for the other matchups, like, there are actually some instances where the lower seeded player has a skill set above their lower seeded opponent. I mean,
Higher
the
seeded.
lower seeded player has a better performance at the stage than their higher seeded opponent. There you go. But we have to know this is an easier map pool.
Mm,
Like, consistency is gonna be more of a factor here, and I think the lower seeded, usually the early game is whenever the is like the best time for a lower seeded player to actually score an upset,
mm.
because if you're capable, you should be able to keep up with accuracy with your opponent,
Yeah,
or
and
at the very least the consistency of your opponent, as long as you're able to do so.
yeah, uh, I speaking from experience, I feel like accuracy and consistency is very, very important in the early games. But anyways, we'll be
Okay.
seeing the
Ooh,
bans right now.
okay. So the bands are hybrid one. That is actually a really interesting band. And EX1. So for those who are not aware, EX picks are as said to be as difficult as the tiebreaker of the pool. EX1 is a mixed rice pick. EX2 is a mixed LN pick. EX3 is a mini tiebreaker of some sorts.
Mm,
On the other hand, the hybrid 1 is more LN heavy, hybrid 2 is more rice heavy, and hybrid 3 is more of a technical hybrid sort of thing. And our first pick coming from Nicolot is LN3 or LN density pick.
yeah, makes
Also, another interesting thing siguro, which we weren't able to gloss over, is the fact that both of the protects are EX picks as well.
mm, banking on those EX picks for the later parts of this matchup. Makes sense for Nicola to pick the LNs. I mean, he, according to the qualifiers, he just overpowers Heavy Weapon when it comes to the LN. Although Heavy Weapon does have a pretty impressive score on LN1, has a
Yeah.
958k on Starred Heart. So we could see a little bit of an upset here.
Yeah,
That's probably the biggest chance here, really.
the closest difference actually is on are either on that or the more technical rice pick.
Mm,
So, I mean, not really technical, more like a general mixed rice some sorts.
mm,
Which, conveniently enough, rice 5 is more of a mixed rice with a technical element, although it's classified as a technical chart in this pool. But
Mm,
anyways, here we go with Ln density. So the analog here is actually stage 4 in the qualifiers. This is more like a super easy version of stage 4. The density is still right there because obviously it has to be dense pick.
mm.
And actually, I kind of like this pick for actually kind of I actually really like this pick from nickulott because LN density is actually where the is actually the biggest difference in score. I mean in ranking relative to the entire roster. nickulott has like the biggest advantage in the density pick.
Yeah, and yeah, we can see you can already see the density affecting heavyweapon9 with uh, a miss on one of the schlongs, I assume.
Oh my gosh, I haven't heard of that term in so long.
Yeah, I've been. I mean, yeah, I never thought I would say it, but I don't know how to describe those short Ellens, so I'll just call it
I
schlongs. But
mean, just remember that Pepe scolded Lusty Platypus and Potassium F after that. After
yeah,
that,
yeah, I
when
remember.
they coined
Yeah,
the term.
yeah, I remember that. That's an old story, but every weapon just missing in one of those releases. Nickulott had a it looks like a miss from the start, but has recovered beautifully after that, holding a pretty good accuracy over Happy Weapon 9. And we can see right now we're in what we call a little bit of a respite before we can see these rice
Yeah.
getting more involved, and yeah, the build up coming into the very dense part right here.
Uh, Actually, Nicolot stable, pretty much stable with their 99.3. And like just holding on to their to these notes just fine. Unfortunately, we're not able to see like a full combo from the very start here from Nicolot, and there comes another miss. A full 10th chopped off their accuracy, but still, like, the lead is pretty much solid at this point, especially with a heavy weapon just almost a full percent behind in accuracy.
Yeah, especially in the early games, accuracy is just very important as in the consistency. You may be holding the full combos, but it's just not enough. You just need the accuracy, especially in the early games.
And now here's a denser version, more release heavy section of this chart as well. And both players again pretty much stable at the densest section of this chart, which is actually really funny.
Yeah, the difference in score has just increased. Last time we saw it was 15k, but now it's 20. So this is gonna be the end of the chart here, and there's not enough time for heavy weapons guy to get get over that.
Yeah. Unfortunate miss though, coming from actually both of these players. Unfortunately, they got one miss, and I think three Ellen breaks most likely. But what do you do? Well, still super impressive scores on both of these players. It's just that Nicolot manages to out ratio heavy weapon for the most part. It's just the accuracy, really. Like the consistency is right there.
Yeah, just like heavy weapon had more combo. It's just that Nicolot had the accuracy difference in his side.
Okay. Now for heavy weapon, you could actually we might. There's actually a possibility we could look at the um we could look at the slower LNs, LN1, LN2.
Mm,
Actually, EX2, there's a decent case for it.
mm.
Pero, ano, we could, but if everyone wants to play safe, like, you might as well look into the Rice at the very least, like, check if you're able to keep up or even outscore your opponent with the Rice. But no, they're going for hybrid too.
Mm.
All right.
So that's the uh, rice biased pick. I'm assuming.
Rice bias hybrid pick indeed. And this is the first time this chart gets selected this weekend. And officially, all of the picks have been selected.
So
With that, well, except the tiebreaker.
I'm assuming that nobody liked this chart. and they were not they were not in good faith able to pick this.
I'm actually unsure why everyone has been avoiding this one in particular.
Maybe there's some dense pattern that comes with this. I mean, I can see the BPM 268 pretty high for 7 key.
I mean, I guess a theory is the mere fact that the charter of this one is actually Turks.
Mm, true too.
That is a theory.
But yeah, here we go, and the beginning doesn't can see a lot of these chords that come from the beginning. They both players held beautifully, but heavy weapons accuracy seems to lag behind from nickulott. But oh, and as I say that, he's been hitting a bit late, so its accuracy just went down by quite a bit. nickulott holding on to a 99.4 around that at least. Uh, and yeah, heavy weapons looks to try and recover to at least 99.
Yeah, like I think like one another theory is like why everyone has been avoiding is it's just like the overall um like just the overall difficulty of this chart. Like this is one of the harder picks aside from like outside of the EX picks in the pool. Like the chord stream is on the slower side, but it's a double stair kind of chord stream. Not the and it's not even like the config double stair. Like it's a asymmetric double stair, and then you have like these short holds
Yeah,
that are just all over the place.
yeah, it just seems like they just come out of nowhere, and all of a sudden you will probably lose accuracy like heavy weapons here.
And nickulott has been holding onto this accuracy really, really well.
Yeah, he's been taking it really well in this. Has fallen from the 99.4, but is close enough that they could come back to it, really. Ooh, but nickulott has been, I assuming, releasing a bit early on those.
Yeah, just a tad bit too early, I'd say. I think that's pretty much the reason why they dropped accuracy for the most part. But they are able to maintain a full combo. We're actually seeing a double FC.
Damn.
Really good.
A pretty good performance by both players. Ratios similar to both 800s,
Yeah.
845. Pretty close. It's just
Yeah.
that the
Like
200s
the
are
great
smashed.
count. Yeah, the
Mm,
200s are kind of shaky, but heavy weapon does so the consistency is there at least.
yes, this is
Consistency is there. It's just more of like the accuracy.
for someone with a lower seed, this is a pretty good score, honestly.
Okay, nickulott's turn to pick for a
Yep.
possible third point.
Mm, this would be the third point in a row if nickulott would win this next pick. Has a huge chance to run away with it in this matchup. And they go
Okay,
for
so we're
LM2.
seeing the best song in the pool,
Yeah.
unironically.
And the man himself has mapped it right beside me. It's pretty cool.
Pamela 1, Pamela Mela 1, Pamela 2, Pamela Mela 2,
I never
Pamela 3, Pamela Mela 3, Pamela 4,
four.
Pamela Mela 4,
Four.
Pamela 1, igalaw ang katawan, Pamela 2, kumimbot ng ganito. Ayun.
Yeah, I guess that's how we describe the map. I mean,
Yeah.
from the man himself who mapped it. Well, we can see what he describes is the best description for this map. But I never
Oh
thought I
my
would
god.
hear this song in a while. Like this is the
I
first time
mean,
I've heard this song. It's very nostalgic,
yeah.
honestly.
I mean, you have to remember this song is like what 21 years old.
Yeah. Oh, that was. I don't know if that's quiet
Yeah.
or not,
Oh
but that
no.
was a weird miss.
Look. Yeah. Pretty weird miss. But the accuracy, Nicolo's accuracy is right there if it isn't client, so they should be able to pick up the lead.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Just a weird miss from the chords, I would assume. But yeah, these releases from the spacebar could mess up some people who are not used to it. And these
like overall though, nickulott actually maintaining combo throughout this entire thing, just releasing a bit like releasing earlier,
Yeah,
maybe hitting earlier as well overall.
yeah.
I feel like if heavy weapon could actually fix those early judgments, like this score would have been really good.
Yeah, it would have been pretty good. I mean, holding a pretty good combo. It's just that the accuracy is just been just a little bit early on almost practically everything, really. Nickulott holding a pretty good accuracy despite miss combo breaking twice, which is a pretty good sign.
And
But
we're
yeah,
about to end this chart.
yeah, not a very
So,
long chart, so any mistake here could be pretty bad.
ooh, okay. This is actually pretty interesting. High act versus high combo.
Yeah,
Impressive full combo here from heavy weapon. I think like if you just fix those early, if you just fix those early hits and releases, like this could have been a really good run. This could have been a really
ye-
good run.
it would have been. Unfortunately, heavy weapon gets a negative ratio, so not good on our early game kind of maps really. And we see EX3 being picked by heavy weapon.
Now EX3, the mini tiebreaker. Though funnily enough, the focus of the patterns in this chart is kind of different from how the actual tiebreaker of the pool is charted. So in a way, this is a compliment to the actual tiebreaker.
Yeah, it's a. I'm sure that this map, like you can see the length quite a bit longer than the others. So, and we can see Nickulott playing with mirror. I'm sure that it means that there's a certain pattern that they're more comfortable if they flip it around.
Yeah, you usually use mirror to maybe avoid a certain kind of bias in terms of patterning,
Mm,
or if not that, like you just want to avoid mind block.
yes. You can see the beginning here. Both players holding combo, but heavy weapon just not holding the accuracy compared
Oh,
to
big
Nickulott. But
drop from nickulott.
yeah, just reducing that lead quite a
The
bit.
accuracy is right there though.
They're actually closer in terms of accuracy. I think the dense, how fast these patterns are going is affecting Nickulott quite a bit. So we're probably
Yeah,
close to what heavy weapon is. You can see how the advantages that heavy weapons is going for. He's pretty good at these, you know, these more physically uh, harder charts.
I think like the one thing that nickulott has to be super careful here is like not missing at all. I'd say because like 5,000 points, while it's a pretty big score gap already, like it's a decently large score gap. Like that could be easily undone because
Mm,
you are facing someone who has been holding a full combo. Like
mm,
yeah, sure, the accuracy is not really there for the guy with a full combo, but a big a big moment from nickulott here is gonna make a big. It's gonna be something interesting, I'd say.
yeah. And as we try to go from this build up to what we assume is the drop, we'll see if Nickulott will drop from there. But now the accuracy is pretty good on Nickulott's side.
Wow, heavy weapon is not really phased by the increase in density.
Mm. Yeah, they're not. They seem to be pretty solid in this. In fact, both players.
Nickulott is slowly pulling ahead by virtue of the accuracy lead here.
Yes,
But
lead
yeah.
is solid, but now Nickulott misses
Okay,
on.
I don't think that's enough though. Like the miss is very clean. Like it barely dropped their accuracy.
Yeah, practically no effect. Honestly, it's just lowers the lead by let's say a couple thousand points really. And in fact, the lead is actually increasing by quite a bit, and
Oh,
heavy weapons just broke
that's
on the
unfortunate.
density increase, and now we're gonna see Nickulott running away with the lead, and this is the fourth point in a row for Nickulott. Match point.
Actually, pretty unfortunate that that heavy weapon dropped their combo at the very end, but still managing to get a managing to get a combo that big is really good. Meanwhile, Nicolot, solid performance. And
Yes,
those are two LN drops, not exactly misses.
not exactly. It's just combo breaks on the release. Really, that's just what happens with Score V2. Everything else, Nickulott just has the upper hand in terms of accuracy. This is going to be the final. This will be the pick for Nickulott, and Nickulott has the chance to close this out for a sweep. He picks Rice 4.
And going for Rice 4 is actually the best bet Nicolot, I'd say, has. Like, just out act at this point. You already know that your opponent cannot keep up with ratio, and this is the rate. This is like ratio, that chart.
Yes, you can see OD9. Pretty strict when it comes to the judgment, and also on a 3-minute mark. So it's all about endurance and precision in this map. We'll see if Nickulott can hold it.
Right. Time to see how this goes.
See the beginning. You can see these bit of these, these jacks coming in.
And the Jacks are pretty much super consistent overall with this thing.
Goes with the music is not strange, so it should be
Yeah.
easy to act.
Oh,
And heavy weapon just missed on that stream, transitioning
yeah,
into the
that stare might have thrown heavy weapon off indeed. Like that's like the only thing. Like sometimes there are some stairs that are thrown in there to keep you on your toes really. You have to pay attention and not just stay in a trance.
yeah. Can't keep yourself consistently thinking, oh, it's a jack, oh, it's a jack. You have to keep in mind stairs are coming, and we're gonna be seeing the next part of the map coming in. You can see these jacks coming in. Nickulott holding a 99.75. That's basically 990k if he can hold it.
Yeah. Funnily enough, this is actually the high. This would be the highest score in this chart, as far as I know, because this got banned in the on the matches involving the players who you would assume would top this song. But no, I think they dropped they dropped to 99.6 now. So I don't
Yeah,
think this is a 990k anymore. Like a few straight 200s coming from Nickulott.
heavy
Unless like
weapon.
if they gain act at the very
Yeah,
end.
I was about to say heavy weapon uh, recovered to a 99, but recently dropped from it. Nickulott looking to go back to the 99.9 to close this matchup up, assuming that nothing disastrous happens in this last quarter of the
Indeed.
map. You can see Nickulott dropping a little bit of accuracy, but as long as he holds the combo and everything else, it would be fine for him.
Just a little bit more for Nickulott, and they will be able to close out this match and advance to the winners bracket quarterfinals.
Yeah,
Just a little bit more.
hopefully no sudden brownout happens.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Alam kong kaka 12-hour brownout lang sa inyo. Wag mo namang ano.
Nah, bro. But yes,
And there you go.
we'll see a huge advantage towards Nickulott with the practically 30,000 lead. 3 greats.
Three greats from Nickulott. Unfortunate miss. They're coming from heavy weapon, and but then like the consistency is right there for heavy weapon. I think like the accuracy is one thing. Actually, I saw someone in Twitch chat maybe theorizing that the scroll speed might be a little bit too slow for heavy weapon. I think they could be. I think they should be able to adjust that within the week as they prepare for the quarterfinals weekend because they are going to be playing by then.
Mm.
Congratulations to Nickulott for winning this match. They will be advancing to the winners bracket quarterfinals,
Yeah.
and they are going to be facing Arquin.
Arquinolivirus, my goat.
Yeah, so you have Nickulott and Arquin facing each other in the quarterfinals weekend, and Heavy Weapon will be facing Jibby in the losers bracket.
Mm.
So with all of that, 7 out of the 8 7K matches have been finished. So we have one more 7K match remaining, and that is Uripe versus VRX. That is actually a pretty interesting matchup, I'd
Mm.
say. But that will be happening at 9 p.m. tonight. Wait, 9 p.m. or 10 p.m.? Actually, no,
10 p.m.
10 p.m. 10 p.m. There we
10
go.
Yeah.
10 p.m. tonight, indeed. But our next stream match is actually not 7K. We are going to be streaming a 4K match, actually, the first 4K match of this Super Sunday.
Yeah, there's a lot of
And
4K matches. A lot of
yeah,
7K matches, actually, I meant.
yeah, like most of the 4K matches actually happened yesterday. So we have
Yeah.
three 4K matches. At 8 p.m., we have Forken facing Bronya Zacek.
Mm.
At 8 p.m. again, 33 minutes from now. And at 9 p.m., actually two matches. You have Unitori versus J1002.
That's a nice matchup.
That is a really classic matchup. You have Unitori and the 2021 PH Nationals champion, J1. And then the other match, which will be streamed here on Osalai PH. It's Plana versus Paracosm. The
That's cool.
Unitori versus J1002 match is going to be streamed on the B stream. So yes,
Mm.
so two streams at 9 p.m. and then we'll be back. And then the 7K will be back at 10 p.m. Uripe versus VRX to close this one out.
Mm.
To close this weekend out. So any final words before we end this one?
Well, it's a pretty. I would say that if you want to watch some pretty banger matchups, two matchups at the same time, just wait until 9 p.m. because it's pretty interesting matchup right there. I I would also
Wait lang, may ATM pa. May
I would also
ATM pa, grabe naman.
I would also say that 8 p.m. is also uh it's pretty interesting as well. I'll be commentating there. It's pretty cool, but uh you can see Forken is pretty good player too. So and Bronya just an up and coming player. But yeah,
Yep, indeed. So a veteran versus what is essentially a rookie appearance here for the 8 p.m. match. So, anyways, we'll be back in 22 minutes from now in behalf of the OCPH Nationals Mania Tournament staff. This has been Search85 and Laser Read in the booth. We'll see you guys later.
goodbye.